It's Chris Smith time. Oh, hello everybody. It's me, Chris Smith. And today I'm using a different camera to do my video. So it might look a little different. Oh, and if you wonder why I'm wearing a hat with a t-shirt, it's because I looked at my hair and it is atrocious. Look at this. I'm so embarrassed. But I did get it cut the other day. I just should have washed it earlier today. But we're not here to talk about hair. I'm here because just the other day, I saw Sondheim's Old Friends, a great big Broadway show. And I saw it at the Ahmanson Theatre in beautiful Los Angeles, where it is playing until March 9th. Yes, February 8th until March 9th. So I saw it like on the 15th, 16th, I believe. And I must say, this is a review, a tribute review, really, to Stephen Sondheim, the great lyricist and composer, and it is a fabulous show. Now, we've all seen Stephen Sondheim reviews before, like Side by Side by Sondheim, or Putting It Together. I remember I saw a fun production of Putting It Together. Was it at the Mark Taper Forum? I think it was at the Mark Taper Forum, or was it was either at the Mark Taper Forum or at the Ahmanson Theatre. But it was in Los Angeles, and with Carol Burnett and John Barrowman, several Bronson Pinchot was in it. And that was very good. But this is, though it's a concert, you get little sections of his best shows, most beloved shows. Really, there's a little piece of everything in there. But you actually feel like you're getting a bit of Sweeney Todd when you're doing it. And since we didn't get there was no tour of the revival of Sweeney Todd with Josh Groban and all those people, so it was nice to get a little taste of Sweeney Todd. Tastes like Priest. But yes, so I went with my friend Rob and Rob Stevens, you know. And it was very, very good. Oh, look, inside the program, there's a whole section I didn't even see. There's a whole story on getting old friends together. Now, this is produced by Cameron McIntosh. Here are some of the ladies of Old Friends. It stars Bernadette Peters and Leah Salonga. Bernadette Peters. You know, when I first saw her in Annie Get Your Gun on Broadway, when I was a little child, okay, I wasn't a child, I cried when she came out because Bernadette Peters, I've always loved Bernadette Peters. Remember The Jerk, various Carol Burnett appearances on the Carol Burnett show, so many things. She's just a national treasure and a national theater treasure. But the cast is outstanding. Let me tell you all who's in it. Oh, I can't wait to read these articles. I wish I had gone through this better when I was on the subway. Okay, so here is the inside of the program. And luckily, I'm doing this review early enough that if you're in the Los Angeles area or the Southern California area, or if you're going to be in town through March 9th, there's still time to see it. Sometimes I miss the window of opportunity. So here's the inside page. This is devised by Cameron McIntosh. Of course, as I said, music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim. The choreography is by Stephen Meir. direction and musical staging by Matthew Bourne, side by side with Julia McKenzie. And it was originally produced in London by Cameron McIntosh. So this was very exciting to see. So they did it as a concert on May 3rd, 2022 at the Sondheim Theatre in London. Then that was a gala performance. Then it opened in the West End for a short run. I'm told a 16-week run at the Gielgud Theatre. Also starring Bernadette Peters and Lea Salonga of Miss Saigon fame. So the Los Angeles performances are its North American debut, its premiere, which is very exciting because we don't always get things like that. And it's going to Broadway next. After it finishes its run in Los Angeles, it is going to Broadway, and it will begin performances March 29th, 2025 at the Samuel J. Friedman Theatre, with an opening night planned for April 8th. So that is very exciting. And so if you can't do the Los Angeles run, then run to New York and you can see it there on Broadway. Now here's the whole cast. You're going to recognize a lot of people you know. Gavin Lee is in it. Beth Level. I just love Beth Level from The Prom and so many things. Kevin Early is in this production. Jacob Dickey. Jasmine Forsberg. Kate Jennings Grant. Bonnie Langford. Beth Level and Gavin Lee, as I said. Jason Pennycook. Joanna Riding. Jeremy Sicombe. Kyle Selig. Maria Wearies. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Maria. Daniel Yearwood. Paige Farr. Alexa Lopez. And Peter Neuwirther. I'm so sorry. You know, having a name like Smith, we don't have to worry about how to pronounce our names. And then when I see other names and I'm just reading them cold, it is so embarrassing. I do apologize. Now, you're wondering what songs are in this, of course. So many. Here's the musical numbers. I'll go over them, but you can pause and read them for yourself. Oh, and you know, there was it was a 2.5 hour show with an intermission. I thought, well, maybe since it's a review, it'll be 90 minutes, no intermission. But no, it was the full thing. So you get your money's worth. But so they had hit songs like Side by Side and Comedy Tonight, your usual things, the company medley, the little things you do together, You Could Drive a Person Crazy, Getting Married Today. They did the Into the Woods section. There was a really good Hello Little Girl with Jacob Dickey, who was Aladdin in Aladdin, and Bernadette Peters in her Little Red Riding Hood outfit. Now, some people said that they thought that Bernadette's voice was a little strained that night that we saw. I mean, of course, Bernadette with a little bit of a vocal issue is still better than most people at their the top of their game. And so I thought Bernadette sounded fine, but there were a few times where I was like, oh, is her voice having trouble? When I saw her in Gypsy on Broadway, she was having voice strain during that time too. But it's just so thrilling to see her. But and Beth Level does the Ladies Who Lunch, and yeah, they do A Little Priest. They do The Worst Pies in London with Leah singing it. A Weekend in the Country. You know, I don't like that show, that A Weekend. What is that show? Oh, you know, A Little Night Music. I don't like A Little Night Music. Is that terrible? Has some very good songs, but that show always leaves me cold. Maybe it's because I'm from the country and I don't want to spend a weekend there. But yes, in the second act, at the beginning, they did the whole overture for Merrily We Roll Along, which I think is one of the best overtures in musical theater history. I really do. Some of you may want to argue with me, but listen to me. I know. I've lived on both coasts. They do Somewhere and the Tonight Quintet from West Side Story. They do the Folly section with Broadway Baby, and they do some gypsy songs. You Gotta Get a Gimmick, and they're a little more mixed up in the second act. It's not just like chunks of things. But of course they still have, well, there is a whole Follies section. They do I'm Still Here and Could I Leave You and Buddy's Blues, and yes. And of course there's Being Alive and Old Friends. You can't not sing Old Friends in a show called Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends. But I really enjoyed Old Friends, I must say. And now merchandise, I saw some shirts there. They didn't have the window card, but the window card, I'm assuming, is similar to the magnet. And I bought this magnet. Now, people who make magnets for the theater, I like this kind that's sort of like a nice little block, a three-dimensional type thing, rather than the ones that are sort of metal, or, you know, not metal, but, you know, the ones where once they've stuck to the refrigerator or whatnot, and you go to take them off and the magnet comes off the back of it, eventually, you know, it just, and then you're having to peel it off and get glue and glue it back on. Now, this is a big solid block. Now, I'm sure, yes, maybe this magnet could come off, but it feels more sturdier, and that's why this magnet was $15. It's very expensive to have a theater collection and not have to spend a lot of money. But I was going to sing every song from Stephen Sondheim, but Sondheim's music is a little over my head. But I did used to sing, leave you, how could I leave you, when I was at CBS, but I would change it to, how could I leave you, CBS? You've been so good to me for a week or two, out of the 500 weeks that I worked for you. The mailroom children always loved it when I sang that. I guess maybe it's not appropriate for a supervisor to be singing about the company that's betrayed everyone. But, and then, of course, CBS went and canceled So Help Me Todd after its second season, so they're just full of betrayal. But back to Sondheim. So I think Sondheim would be very pleased with this fitting tribute. You can tell that it was done with reverence and a great deal of love. So, like I said, if you get a chance to see it in Los Angeles or on Broadway, do see Sondheim's Old Friends, a great big Broadway show. We're just blessed that we got it before it went to Broadway. Okay, that is all this time, but I'll see you the next time that it's Christmas time.